The Philadelphia Phillies are one of the greatest teams in Major League Baseball over the last half decade. In general, the team has had major success, including 4 postseason appearances, 2 division titles, and a pennant. And the team is full of notable players who have led them to this success. If you're someone who doesn't dig too deep into the sport, you might likely guess the players that everyone talks about, and that includes players like Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, or you might be thinking about the pitchers like Zach Wheeler, or both of their longtime veterans like Aaron Nola and Ranger Suarez. And it isn't like these players haven't had succession in the past. Trey Turner won the batting title for the second time in his major league career. Kyle Schwarber set a career high this season with 56 home runs, plus winning the All-Star Game MVP. Bryce Harper, probably the most notable, leading them to the pennant and to the World Series during his humongous 2022 postseason. Wheeler, who's had 2 Cy Young runner-ups, and Nolan Ranger have dominated the pitching in the postseason. But there's one player that rarely gets mentioned for their success in the last couple years, and it's kind of sad how little this player gets mentioned despite what he's brought to the team. I'm talking about their main utility player who can also be used as an outfielder and an infielder, Edmundo Sosa, who was brought to them from St. Louis during the 2022 trade deadline. If you guys don't know who Sosa is, I'll give you a rundown of him right now. He is a utility player that can be an infielder and outfielder for the team, any team actually. And he mainly is a shortstop, third baseman, or second baseman, and he has played in quite a few games for the Phillies, despite only playing in about 20 games, more than 40 games a season. He doesn't get a lot of playing time. He mainly plays when one of the players who mainly is at that position is injured or is benched due to ineffective play. He started his career with the Cardinals in 2018 and was traded to the Phillies partway through the 2022 season and showed offensively and defensively how good he was and was a key part in the 2022 postseason run for the Phillies. Probably best that he wasn't made the everyday shortstop during the seasons because he was never really used to being an everyday player. But I know there are some players that he plays other positions for that could end up being traded this offseason and could make him an everyday player. While his primary position is shortstop, he's not going to be an everyday shortstop. Trey Turner has filled up that position, and there's no way he is going to be traded away. But he could be an everyday third baseman and second baseman, as I know they also have trade rumors. Alec Bohm, their primary third baseman, has not exactly had the most effective career for the team. I mean, he's a good hitter, but doesn't produce a lot of homers. He only hit 11 homers this year. We'd expect an average player to hit about 20 home runs a year, and that is not Alec Bohm at all. So I kind of hope that if Bohm goes away, they put Sosa at that spot because Sosa played in less games than Bohm, and Sosa hit 11 homers with Bohm. Sosa had a 3-homer game as well at the end of the season, so if Bohm were to go away, Sosa would perfectly slide into third base and produce some hits for Philadelphia. Probably the more bigger trade rumor is their second baseman, Bohm and Stott, who has not exactly had an effective seasons in Philadelphia, as he's only batted below 260 the last 2 seasons, and he's only had one good season, and that was 2023 when he batted 280. He claims he had an elbow injury in 2024, but he didn't see any success in 2025 either, so definitely was not an elbow injury issue. It was just not swinging the bat well enough. So if he were to go away, Sosa would also slide into second base perfectly. So he could be a primary second baseman if they would need him to ever go into that position as well. This likely will not happen again, but if they were to try Sosa in the outfield again, I would get rid of Johan Rojas because he has not exactly had a good career so far since arriving in Philadelphia. There are things he can do, like move when he gets a hit, but that rarely happens. And he was in Lehigh Valley after the end of July for the rest of the season. So I think Philadelphia is planning to part ways with him, but if they are to, I would definitely consider trading him away and put Sosa in the outfield because there are ways he could benefit from that, and he can hit, and he could potentially also catch well in the outfield. So I'm hoping they're planning on doing that with Rojas or finding a new place for Rojas in anywhere in the league. And it's not like so far the team hasn't been quiet this offseason. No, because when they signed Adolis Garcia to that contract, that's basically closing the door on Nick Castellanos, as Garcia is a primary right fielder, and so is Castellanos. So Philly's reason to signing Adolis Garcia is to kind of make way for him to get into the outfield and send Castellanos out. I don't know yet if they're going to release him or trade him. It seems like they're going to release him because no teams are interested in taking him. But if Sosa were to try in the outfield, if things with Garcia don't go well, there's way he can end up in the right field area, and catch some things and hit, like I said before. If Sosa were an everyday player, his success would easily lead Philly back to the postseason, and he would definitely have a lot of offensive capabilities that are really well made. He is a great utility player, like I said, and the team, with his help, he could majorly benefit in helping the team win a World Series ring. So that's why I think he is perfectly capable of being an everyday player, even though he hasn't always been that way. Anyways, guys, thanks for taking the time to listen to what I have to say about Edmundo Sosa and his offensive powers. I think he could definitely be an everyday player if they were to trade away the other players that I mentioned, that are in positions that he is familiar with. So I think he will easily find a position that he will most likely largely benefit from. So anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.